hello. Welcome to True Talks with Charlie. I'm Charlie. It's another week. So excited about this. Let's see. Pin comment. Look at me learning new things. Hey, Sky. All right, again, this is True Talks with Charlie. Doing less, being more. Let's just bring Sky on. Oh, okay. Oh.
Hey.
Hey, I'm like, so much is happening. I don't have my earpiece on.
I'm so excited, also equally nervous.
Yeah, we outside though. We don't. Let's see if it connects. I don't know. It just be. Oh, okay. I'm connected here now. Okay.
Hey everybody who's joining.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to everyone who is joining now, who will watch the replay. I give thanks in advance. So this is another, and we made it to August. So this is another another. I don't even call it episode. This is another experience of a live of Truth Talks.
Like
Yes. And these are basically exploratory conversations. So basically what I do is I invite guests to come through. I just ask them questions and we get to know them. We get to know what their truth is, how they live their life in this current season, and just like what they're learning and doing. I believe that we are all an example of what's possible. And so I invite individuals so we can just chit chat. This is kind of what I do with my friends on a regular, honestly. So I'm just bringing it in front of you all. So what I typically do is let guests introduce themselves, right? Because part of it is not me assuming how you're identified today. So I'm going to let you, Sky, introduce yourself.
So you know I'm a stan. So I prepped for this. I was like, who am I? And I feel like it's like super on point just because like that question is super on point just because I've been in a space of giving myself titles in ways that I haven't before. So who am I? I am art personified, first and foremost, always. I am the hippie goddess. I am a sacred sensual artist and a energy and wellness practitioner. I am being and flowing and a goddess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
more,
so
and still
excited.
learning.
Yeah, and remembering and uncovering all the things.
And remembering, yes.
Yes, hey, love. Yes, and just FYI, please feel free to leave comments, ask questions in the chat, and I'll come back to them throughout the process. But a lot of this is just like, I do prep questions, but what really is meant to happen and what my intention is that I take the questions, I take the answers that the guests give, and I just ask more questions. Basically what we do is stay curious here. This is a space for curiosity. So I don't believe in right or wrong. This is just one way of doing life, and this is just where they currently are.
My bad, y'all.
So.
It's giving Flatbush.
It's giving.
I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if you can hear the
ice cream truck. Yes. Okay, so a part of the Truth Talks is what I do during this is I basically give guests their flowers. So when I started this in July, everyone that was a guest, as well as Sky, basically I asked them to be a guest, right? Basically what I did is I asked people that I just watch online or I actually know in person that I'm just inspired by, that constantly inspires me, or that I'm just in awe of their life or like what they show us online, right? Or in person. And so one of the things I like to do is give guests their flowers, right? Let people know why I'm obsessed with them. And so Sky, I met years ago. I actually couldn't remember how I met you.
Do you remember? Did you remember?
I couldn't. No. But okay. I also tried like 10 minutes before this. So
I'm crying. Okay. So I want to say like instantly I'm not nervous anymore. And I'm like, oh, not me just hopping on live talking to my friend. Okay. It's going to be lit. Anyways. All right, so boom, how did we
Oh,
meet?
through love.
Actually, we met the same time that me and Lo met, and we met through Jasmine.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Creative Woman Builds, like when she would do those mini
Those workshops.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have known Sky from. So Sky currently, Della Hippie is Sky's shop, right? You do
Mhm.
that full time, right? So I met
Mhm.
you back when like you were like working a 9 to 5, like in a different capacity, right?
Yeah.
Your art was different, right? Now this
Mhm.
version of you is like an artist. You have like
Mhm.
expanded on a whole other level, and so I think one of the reasons
Mhm.
why I'm so in awe of you is because like I've seen you shapeshift, right? I've
Mhm.
actually watched you shift. I've actually watched you expand in some capacities of your life, right? Especially in business, especially in how you express your truth, right? And the people you were around and how the way you protect yourself now, right? Just by boundaries, and not in a crazy way, but like the boundaries that you
The
create,
boundaries, yes.
the way you speak up, the way that like you don't. So I've been in situations with Sky where I feel triggered, but like Sky will be like, "This is just what it," not by you, but by like
Oh.
what's happening. And I might be
Mhm.
like, "Oh my gosh, concerned or worried." Like I don't want to
Mhm.
like trying to do the best we can to like just make everybody comfortable. And like
Mhm.
I would still be stressed about it, and you'd be like, "We did the best we could," and you would just be like, "You would just
We
be like,
did the
oh, we
best
did
we
the best we
could.
could." Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we did our part, right? And it was like through that thing, right? I learned how to let go more, because then I'm just like,
Mm.
I did the best I could. My intentions were pure, and that's just it, right? Like I have learned how to give it over to God, give it over to
Mhm.
Source. Like after I do the best I can, whatever the outcome is, I'm okay with it. And I think that part
Mhm.
of that was you. I think we were together like a weekend, and you said it more than once. We kept
Mhm.
getting in a situation
Yeah,
similar, and
I
you would be like,
remember. Yes, I
yeah, and
remember.
you would be like, we did the best we could. Like we really are
Mhm.
trying to help. And I think that there's
Mhm.
something so amazing about surrendering, right? And there's something so
Yep.
renewing when we get to surrender. And so, yeah, I think that you just teach me a lot just by being, right? Because there's never been a time where you told me to do anything, but just
Mhm.
your beingness has taught me how I can add more ease to my life, how I can surrender
Mhm.
a little bit deeper, how I can have more calm around me. So
Mhm.
I give thanks. Yes.
I literally needed to hit. First of all, if y'all new here, I cry. It's natural because I needed that. So thank you. Trying not to cry.
Yes. So we have a warm-up question for you.
Okay.
So your warm-up question
Yeah,
is,
bring the
what
jokes.
color? Yeah, I love you. What color best describes your personality today?
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So immediately, oh my God, no, the tear is actually falling. It's hilarious. Okay. I have a Cancer moon, guys. I'm sorry. Okay.
Water moon.
Yeah.
We love it.
She,
We love it.
she happens even when I don't want her to. Okay. I'm tempted to say green, but the answer is really orange. Yeah,
Mm.
it's orange. Yeah. Am I giving an explanation?
Yeah. Do you
Okay,
have a
cool.
reason for it, or is this what's coming to you? Yeah.
Um, a little bit of both. So like it's coming to me one, but also I work a lot with my heart and sacral energies. And recently I've been shifting a lot more into sacral work and
Mm.
just honoring that and leaning more into that. So I've been gravitating more towards oranges and yellows and that type of vibe. But green still has a special place in my heart. So yeah.
Yes, I love it. And I'm sure it's going to tie it to all of this. Okay, so we're ready for the main topic. Hey, hey, hey. All right. So, doing less, being more is your
Mhm.
theme currently, or at least the topic we're
Mhm.
going to explore today. So, can you tell us more about what does that even mean for you, or what does it look like? What does it feel like? Whatever you can share with us.
Okay. That's like a loaded question. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Many things, right? First, surrender. Like that is literally, I think that was the most um, pivotal insight I received. And I received it during a time where I felt like I couldn't get control of anything happening in my life. Like it was just like things just kept happening left and right. And I kept doing things to try to prevent other things from happening. And it seemed like it was working the opposite. Like I kept doing things to try to prevent things from happening, and instead, I'm sorry, I get distracted. Orange open road. Oh, Ashay, thank you. And green abundance.
Green abundance. Yeah, love it for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I kept trying to control, and what that did is bring more resistance. And I just remember being in the water and just feeling like this sense of deep sadness, but also deep appreciation. And I literally just heard, baby girl, you gotta chill. You just need to surrender. Just like, that's it. Like, that's all you have to do is surrender and just trust that things are happening for you. Trust that you are supposed to be here. And I think trust and surrender go hand in hand. And so it was a surrendering the control and trusting that even with the surrender, things will be fine. So there's that. I think I forgot a part of the question, but what does it look like? Okay, so it also looks like in this stage, flowing with what feels good. If it doesn't feel good to me, I'm just not going to do it. That has been like my core priority, my core value, and my core like guiding force. Like it has to feel good. It has to feel good in my body. First and foremost, it has to feel good in my body. And that's another thing. All right, I feel like I'm going on a little tangent. But another thing...
And it's okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think another thing was I was so in my head. And I think that is... I think a lot of us are like that, especially in the spiritual community. A lot of us are... Not the ice cream truck again. A lot of us are so in our head. And we forget to be in our bodies. And I realized that was really lacking for me. So I have to do what feels good in my body first, and then it has to feel good in spirit. So yeah, that's what being more and doing less looks like for me.
So basically, yeah, moving from your head to your body, right? Because that's where most of us think like the answers are, right? To be logical about everything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the logic be kicking my ass, and spirit just be like, but we didn't ask you to be logical. We didn't ask you. No one said that you have to have all the steps. We just need you to be a little delusional. We need you to be more trusting, and we need you to surrender. That's what we need from you. We didn't ask you to be logical. We didn't need step 1 through 5. All we need you to do is do what feels good. Start with step 1 and trust that we're going to guide you to the end.
The rest of it, yeah. That's such a leaning in. So surrender and faith is actually my words for this year. Surrender is like my main word, but I knew that faith, I couldn't have faith without surrender. Like I needed both.
Yeah, definitely. They go hand in hand. And I realized that like I was almost trying to separate them at one point. Like it was like, all right, you have to surrender. But also, how is this going to work out? Like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then you're not really surrendering, baby girl. Like, come on. They go hand in hand.
Yes. Lois like, where are those earrings from? Okay.
Oh, you know, whatever. It's still like hippie or whatever.
And yes, delusion, I say. Yeah. So a question I have too, I feel like when, the way this world is set up, right? Like when we talk about systems, right? I think that as much as, we all talk about ease and flow and all these things, right? That sound really beautiful and sound really soft. The reality is we are still a part of systems, right? We are still part of this world, this idea that we should work hard and all these other things. So do you ever find yourself, as someone who also works 9 to 5s and whatever that looks like for you, like do you ever find yourself feeling resistance, right? As you're trying to make choices that aren't necessarily logical, knowing like at the same time, we can't ignore how this world works, right? We still have conditioning around it.
I mean, it's all a practice, right? So to be honest, I think I have a little bit of resistance almost every day. Like if I'm being 100% honest. And it could be, sometimes the resistance is me wanting to be logical, right? And sometimes the resistance is something so minuscule, like it could be in the way that I maybe want to package an order, or it could be in the way that like my morning maybe didn't go in the exact way that I wanted it to set up my day for how I wanted my day to have, like just those little things where I have to remind myself that like all is still well. So like those obviously I've gotten better at kind of navigating it and self-soothing and working through it, right? But I'm still having a human experience that comes with ebbs and flows. So like those little bits of resistance come in. You know what? Lotus actually says this all the time. It's almost like those parts of us become more sophisticated because we're becoming sophisticated, because we're learning so much more. Our self-sabotage and those resistance and those limitations, they're also getting smarter. They're like, nah, like you can't get better. We want you to stay down here. And Spirit is like, no, girl, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and just even taking it further back, right? Just being a Black woman, being a first generation American of immigrant parents, and really being taught like what is play, what is fun. Like this is work hard, work hard, work hard. Like you got to be 3,000 million times better than everyone around you, because not only do you have to do for yourself, and you have things stacked up against you, but you also have to do for everyone that did what they had to do to get you here. So just having to like unlearn that, and always innately knowing that that felt wrong, but not really knowing how to navigate that and what to do about that. And then also understanding that like I was always different, right? Like I never wanted to like be the medical doctor. I never wanted to be the lawyer. I never wanted to be just all the things that traditionally they would want me to be. I wanted to be the psychologist, and I wanted to create art in the park, which I do now. But you know, just kind of navigating like me taking the untraditional route. Of course, there was mad resistance. And then instead of doing those things, going into a 9 to 5 where I literally was the most like unhappiest person ever, and knowing that God called me to do something that I wasn't doing, of course there was resistance. And then also feeling guilty when I finally left the 9 to 5, like, damn, all right, now I gotta struggle because I've left this thing that brings me stability, and I took a leap of faith, but like I'm not seeing the DK like rewards like right now in this. Like, of course, there's mad resistance, but of course, just like learning to navigate it. I feel like I said a lot, but yeah.
I really, and I think like what you said at the start of it, the idea of practice, right, and that vulnerability, like you know, every day I probably have to check in with that resistance, right? Every day I'm self-soothing myself, right, because I am reminding myself like we are safe, right? This is okay, right? Or what we're doing, we can lean into this, we can have faith, you know, all these different things that you gotta like self-talk yourself into in order for you to just, you know, be here now. Some next nigga,
right,
today, okay. My new thing is irrational confidence and being more in the moment. Yes.
And it's really the confidence too. It's the confidence, like just being able to be like, I'm that girl, and I'm really about this life, like whether you see it or not. Like I think Priscilla says this all the time, like I'm one of God's favorites. Like understand, like I'm one of God's favorites. I'm chosen. Like there's gifts that God gave me that are divinely for me, and like being has taught me to like stand in that like heavy, like on some, I don't care what nobody, of course, again, resistance ebbs and flows, but for the most part, being has really given me the ability to really stand firm in who I am and what I do. So
and is the being for you like that checking in with your body, checking in with how you feel, like what does
definitely yeah, the being is like listening. Like I said, for so long I was like in my head, and being really taught me to be in my body more. Like my body, our body knows, right? Our body has like the answers. It has ancestral wisdom. It has just intuition, innate knowing. It literally has the answers, but we live so much in our head, so much in that logic mindset, and being really taught me to shift back into my body. So
yeah. And so one thing that you had mentioned was being present, right? It's like the ease, the gratitude, and being present. I know you have a
Mhm.
super strong gratitude process, and so
Mhm.
I also wanted to explore that a bit, like how that plays into your doing less and being more, and just like the shift you're making in your life, right? Like because this
Mhm.
isn't how you used to operate, right? This is something that
Mhm.
you shifted into.
I think that really came for me during my time in Costa Rica, which is also the time that surrender came to me. And Lotus is like such a big part of this because I think we were journeying through similar things in different ways at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so gratitude really taught me to see like the beauty in everything, to see and where I was unable to see the beauty, to see the lesson in it, because literally beauty and love and joy and ease and pleasure and all of these things are available, pardon me, to us all the time, right? It's literally, I can look outside right now and tell you like 10 beautiful things I see right now. um and I think that's why I hold gratitude and grace so sacredly and in harmony to being present and flowing, because gratitude has opened myself up to more love, to more,
Mm.
yeah, to more love, yeah, to more love and to more beauty. And it has given me gratitude has given me the opportunity to be an active participant in my life, because before I wasn't able to immediately see beauty in everywhere or in everyone. Now I can. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Mm. So I guess I'm like right now I'm starting to wonder like when it wasn't beauty, what was it? Was it like a fear thing? Was it like just you being in your head, trying to understand the circumstances?
when it wasn't beauty, it was, and even now, when it isn't beauty and I'm not able to see the lesson, I feel like it's fair, right? It's fair. It's self doubt. It's um the mentality of like everything is happening to me as opposed to everything is happening for
Mm.
me. It's just low vibrational. It's just all the low vibrational things. When I'm not in a place of gratitude, and I don't want to say it as an absolute. Like if I'm not in gratitude mode, then it's like detrimental. But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not intentionally in a place of gratitude, or I'm not honoring my gratitude practice intentionally, then sometimes it could be that low vibrational state where I'm just kind of like in my feels, and yeah.
Mm. But that makes sense too. So even like what you were talking about earlier about like the more you try to push and fix things, the more there was resistance, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that need to surrender. I've been reading. You use so Sky and Love use the word chaos. Woo! They use the word chaos. So
Chaotic.
recently, I have been doing some studying with human design, and I actually have like one of my Jupiter placements deals with chaos, and like what I hear you
Mm-hmm.
talking about is this form of chaos, right? Like, and the thing is like the chaos is happening inside of us, but it starts showing outside, right? Whether that's like the thoughts we have that connects to the chaos, right? That
Mm-hmm.
makes it more real. Because now
Mm-hmm.
we created a narrative, we gave it a story, we really put something into this to create
Sis,
the
you hit the
situation.
nail on the head. And I feel like we've also been in scenarios with other people where we're like, you just created a whole story out of
Mm,
nowhere. Where did
yeah.
you, how did that even happen? And I feel like that's also what it is too. When I'm not intentionally in a space of gratitude, I'm creating mad false
Mm,
stories, like about myself, about the world, about other people, how they feel about me, this, that. And it's just like, girl, come back, be present. Like,
mm,
not the stories.
yeah. Because, like, I think about it, and, like, most of, even for what you said, and even I think about my own experience. So, just FYI for people who don't know me, I learned about humans through my own experience and then by people watching. And I kind of like, with my intuition, I figure it out, right? Like I'm basically a
Mm-hmm.
scientist of humans. So I'm always curious about like what energy is showing up. And so like a lot of like just what you were saying, like I resonate so much with, because I'm like, yeah, like that, I'm realizing too what people mean by chaos, because it's like something in you get triggered, right? And then all these feels are going on. And then we, like we say, right, what's inside of us is also showing outside of us, right? So you were saying like you were trying to control things and fix things and hurry up, right? And it was showing, it was reflecting outside of you as well, like that desire to control. And it's like surrender, right? You surrender, then everything else seems more peaceful, right? Maybe the answers didn't come right away, but they're coming, right? There's something, but there's
All is
space for
well.
it now.
Yeah. Right. Is there's space for it, and also I feel like surrendering also taught me to like be open to receiving the things. Because like I feel like for a while after getting the insight of surrender, I felt like for a while there was still like this blockage there where I was unable to like to call in the things I desired, and I wasn't able to call it in because even though I had surrendered the experience, I still had this block on my heart of like, all right, well, if I'm surrendering this experience, I don't even want no more experiences to learn from. Like that, I'm good. But that's also not how that works, because again, surrender and trust go hand in hand. So yeah.
So sometimes we got to remind ourselves, this is a comment, sometimes we got to remind ourselves that we're the main character in our stories, and no two are alike. It's not a race. We're competing with ourselves. I totally agree. I can't, like, I really do think
Agreed.
about like how society really try to encourage like competition, especially when you run in a business. Look at your competition, look at your, and it's just like all that pressure. Like, nah, I just want to be me. Like, I don't know nothing about what you got going on over there. I just want to see what I'm about.
I'm not gonna lie.
We're experiencing
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
ourselves. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm not gonna lie. Like there was a part of me that was like, so I'm on like two ends of the spectrum. There was a part of me that was like, you got to get all the ideas out because the girls don't have the ideas, or they gonna see what you're doing and take the ideas. And so I feel like I had that competition mentality where it's like, all right, girl, you gotta do it. And then what happened was, on the flip side, I started to doubt myself because I wouldn't be putting out the ideas. I would see somebody do the idea, and I would just doubt myself, and just, it was just like, and never this. Like just like either rushing to put out all the ideas or completely doubting myself and not putting out anything. So it's definitely that definitely helped me, again, just like listen to my body. Like, all right, when you're ready to put something out and when you're ready to navigate that part of your business, like it'll feel good and you'll know. On a business.
And I feel like, right, and I think even that could be, right, the form of that, of our fear, right, of our ego pain, right, of the memories of the conditioning, right. So I feel like I was a hoarder of information.
Same.
I wanted information so people would need me for the information, and it's like, what? For me, right? That's how it went around. But that's the thing, right? I feel like different people, right? All of us, right, when we on these spectrums, are trying to come to some harmony, right? Wherever we're coming from, and it's all part of the journey, and it's part of that release, and part of that surrendering, part of that. I don't know. I feel like we're constantly dying into aspects of who we think we are, who we say we are, or label.
Girl, all the time. I definitely had like a death and rebirth in Costa Rica. I feel like I had a death and rebirth back in February. I feel like I'm low-key going through one right now. I feel like I'm always like dying and rebirthing, and every time I come back, it's just like, all right, you're just more in sync and more aligned with God, and just more aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, and more aligned with spirit, and more aligned in your purpose, and more aligned in your passion, and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
I also had like a question, like even you talking about these deaths and rebirths, right? I know for myself, right, because again, right, a lot of these questions I have are like reflections from, my own experience too. It's just like, what would you say was like, let me get the way I wrote it, through your transformations, right? What are some lessons you've learned or beliefs you've adopted, right? Like, for me, like, I'll give you an example. For me, one of them is just like, I don't judge people's circumstances because I have no idea what that's about, right? Because I have judged in the past someone who was going through depression. I was younger. I was in the military. It was a whole different person, whole different life. And I wasn't being mean, but I just couldn't understand why they were depressed, right? And I was making comments about it. Within a couple of months, I went through depression very, very deeply, right? And I got to see another aspect of it, right? Asking you shall receive, okay?
Right.
So I think that, you know, right, that experience for me taught me to be slow to judge, right? Slow to have an opinion about things that you just don't know, right? You don't know everything, and try to slow down, right? So, like, is there any lessons like that that you feel like that you've taken with you on this journey that kind of like, all right?
I feel like there's mad lessons. I feel like I learn something every day. But right off the bat, a really major lesson that I've been like journeying with for the past, I want to say maybe like 2.5 months, has been many things can be true at once. I feel like that has really helped me give other people grace as well as myself grace. So just understanding that just because something isn't true for me doesn't make it not true, right? Like my truth and your truth can be different. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that it has to be in resonance with one another, right? It doesn't have to be in resonance with one another. It doesn't with one another. Pardon me. It doesn't have to be in harmony. It doesn't have to be in alignment. It can just be. Like your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth, and we both get to, or we all get to exist in that knowing, and we all get to exist in our truth. So that's been one. Another one has been literally what I said at the start of this, which is like, spirit didn't ask you to be logical. Like that, like, especially again for like the last like 2 months, that spirit didn't actually be logical, baby girl. They just simply did not ask. That has really been sitting with me. And recently, from the start of this month, I know we only like 4 days in, but recently it's been dream bigger. Like that insight has also been like heavy on my spirit, just because I realized, I've been realized, but I recently accepted that in a lot of ways I've created my own limitations, and I've kind of placed okay, what do you call that? I've placed like a container over my dreams. And spirit's like, again, we didn't ask you to do that. Like all of these dreams that you have, continue to add on to them. If you can see it in your mind's eye, then it's possible, then it's already happened, and all you have to do is align to the frequency of those things that you desire. So dream bigger, take up space. You don't have to put yourself in a box. Like all of those things. Like I said, I learn something new every day. So every day there's a new lesson that I kind of just add to like my little toolbox. And
yeah, that's why I asked. Because I do feel like, right, we learn lessons along the way that from lived experiences. I think that, you know, people can share with us what they've learned too, but there's something about a lived experience, a knowing that is so deep within you that's like, I had this experience and this is my truth, right? Yeah, and even like as you're talking about, right, putting limitations on your dreams and realizing that you build on it. Something that, as you're saying, I'm reflecting back to something I read this week. First of all, I don't know if it's just me, but this week has been flying for me. Last week, I thought was the longest week ever.
Oh yeah, you did say that. I feel like this entire summer, someone said to me, "Oh my gosh, summer's almost over," and I was like, "Why would you say that? Why would you say that?" I was so confused. I was like, "Why would you say that to me?" So yeah, this week this week definitely went by fast.
But so I'm just kind of like throwing the idea out there, concept, all right, like this thing that's coming to me. So, right, like you are talking about like putting these limitations on your dreams, and like earlier before we kind of talked about not being logical and the idea that, you know, spirit releases step by step by step, right? Like you're not going to get the whole staircase, but you'll get a step. And I feel like what you're talking about too, when it talks about like, you keep adding on to your dreams. I feel like all of that is like combined, right? Like that's the way this whole thing kind of works. It's like you get a little just idea, right? And then once you get through that, you learn whatever lessons you need to learn, right? You get more confident. You realize you're worthy, right? All these things that help you sustain what you've manifested, right? Now you get that next step, right? And that's what that expansion looks like too. It's like this constant unfolding.
And that's also what being is. That like being is allowing yourself to be in that type of alignment, right? Because I feel like, on the other hand, what I was doing is I put the limitation on top of the dream, and then I built on the limitation.
Ooh.
You feel me? And now I've been able to, one, I have the awareness, right? But now I've come to accept it. And now that I've come to accept it, I get to consciously remove the limitation. I get to work through the limitation.
Ooh.
And now I'm back to an open container with my dreams, where now I can pour into my dreams. And now I can do what I need to do in order to, or align with what I need to align with in order to bring these dreams to fruition. Because again, if I can see it in my mind's eye, then it's already happened. It already is, you know?
Mm. Oh, I'm loving it. This feels like food for my soul. I'm like, yes.
Oh, gratitude.
Just a reminder. Yeah, because I've been thinking about all these things, like, because I've been toying. I think I've been toying with manifesting. I don't usually use that word a lot anyway, but like, I just been toying with, like, how do we really manifest, right? Like, not that there's one way, but like just trying to explore it more. Because before I got into the spiritual world, like, manifesting, creating what I wanted was like easy, like no pressure. But for whatever reason, like, I get into this world that have all these rules, and I don't know if I got caught up in it or what.
It's the
But it was
rules.
never there before. I used to manifest like nobody's business. While I was being a hot mess in these streets. Okay, I was being a hot mess and getting everything I wanted.
What I realized about manifesting that a lot of people don't talk about is, like, we are constantly doing it. Like, we are, and that's another thing to, like, all right, so we talking about being, right? Being is manifesting. Like, you allowing yourself to just be in your body right now and living this life of alignment in whatever way that looks like for you is literally you manifesting a continuation of that experience, an expansion of that experience. Like, we are manifesting constantly. Now, whether we are manifesting something good or something not in alignment is up to how we are in the present moment. It's up to how we are being, literally. So it's, in the words of Shandy, it's all connected. And she's still in here.
But that, and I love, so earlier, I love words, people, but I also feel like words limit me. But here we are, right?
I feel you.
The relationship is complicated. But anywho, what you're talking about, I also heard, like, that's another concept I'm playing with, that we're constantly experiencing ourselves, right?
Yeah,
and that's what I
sure.
feel like you're saying, like, we're manifesting, you know, our beingness, right? What's going on inside of us, and all these other things are what we're creating outside. It's just so interesting. I'm like,
it really is, like, just being able to see everything for what it is and just experience that, like, just being able to give ourselves permission and grace to experience it all, and to be, again, just active participants in this life, just to be a witness to everything that's happening. Like, that is literally all a part of this journey of surrendering, of releasing, of alignment, of being, of journeying, of navigating, and all the ings. Like, that's literally, that's what it is. It's just allowing ourselves to be in the experience and be active participants and witnesses to it all.
I love it, because there's something, like, when I hear this, which I said too when I posted about it, there's something comforting about a lot of this. And I think that, like, sometimes even myself, I laugh at myself a lot, because I'm just like, girl, you creating these narratives to make yourself feel better. And it's very true, right? Because I don't know if they're true or false, but they make me feel good, right? Like, they at least help me to move on. But it makes me cackle. And I know that that's something part of the journey too, right? Because we also know that we're so much more than what we think we are, or know we are, right? We couldn't fully understand what it really is to be a reflection of God, right? Or to be a manifestation.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear, but it's ghetto outside. And it's like, it's so funny. Yeah, okay. My bad, y'all. It's so funny because, like, I'm hot, so, like, the window is open, but, like, Flatbush is flatbushing, and I'm just like, if I close the window.
I know what you mean, because I have my AC on, and I never used to have my AC on, but I used to be burning in here during these lives, and I was like, listen, we're going to have to figure this out, because.
Okay. All right.
But we wasn't really hearing it.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, we don't notice it as much. And Shandy was like, left my house. Yeah.
It was ghetto. My bad, y'all.
All right.
We back.
I'm like, it has words on it, I promise. Sometimes I'm like, girl, you do these papers and you don't read them. But I think it's because I already have the questions in my head now.
Yeah, and it's nice to be prepared.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So the Leo and the Libra. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, I know it's necessary, right? Because I feel like the moment that I stop preparing is when I'm going to be like, and
Yes,
anxiety
I feel
is going to
I feel
get the
like that's
best
the
of
same
me.
thing. When I used to do the lives, I used to have all these questions. And after I realized I didn't ask any of the questions in the way that I had formatted it, but the one time I forgot to prepare questions, I was on live like,
Yeah.
like it was awful.
I said that to myself today. I was like, yeah, you can't even stop. You got to treat this like day one every time.
Yeah,
And so like
I feel
that's
that.
the rule I've set for myself now. It's like you don't treat
I
it like
feel
day one
you.
every time. And so whatever. But yeah, I feel like this topic is so like I think doing less being more, how you said it was loaded. I feel like it is super loaded, but it really does encompass your lifestyle, right? Because I feel like as much as these are practices, you really live this, right? Like I said earlier, like I learn a lot from you by you being, right? I'm not really a
Gratitude.
person that you telling me what to do is like the worst thing you can do if you want me to cooperate.
Same.
And it right, and it's ego too, but it's also like, all right, these are my boundaries though. Like a little bit of
But
ego
that's
maybe. It just
also, I mean,
depends.
my thing is like, is it ego or is it spirit? Because again, spirit, well, for me, spirit's that flow. So I
Yeah.
don't really need you to tell me what to do.
Right. So I think it's like depends on how how I respond, right? Because if I
Mm-hmm.
respond defensively, then
Oh,
that's a
then it's
different.
right. Okay, I
Right.
got you.
See,
Right,
and this is the
I got
process, right? It's like
you.
checking in with yourself, and this is
Right.
how it be sometimes, right? Even
Mm-hmm.
when I'm like after I have an action or behavior, I'm checking in with myself, like, shit, where did that come from?
Right.
Sometimes, like, especially if I like raise my voice, sometimes I will legit be like, I'm okay with that behavior, right? Because like I
Right.
do. Oh, you can tell me this too. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
things, right, with my shift and my change that I got a lot of when I get around certain people, whether it's family or old friends, and everybody want to be like, and if you even raise your voice just a little bit, it's like, oh, see, I knew you didn't change, or of course, I like, or like something like that, where they bring back like, oh, what happened to the love and light, right? Like, or
Mm-hmm.
some kind of smart comment.
First of all, who said it
Um,
was all love and light?
yeah.
Let's start there. Who said it was all love and light?
Mm,
That's that's the problem sometimes. Is everyone be
yeah.
trying to be so love and light that they don't honor, I don't want to say the darkness, but they don't honor like the shadow side, right? They don't put that work into heal or deal with those triggers and those things that come up. Like what is all love and light?
Yeah.
Darkness is the way too. All right, say that then,
Darkness is the
sis.
way.
Darkness is the way. I feel I have like a thing with Charliie as well where it's like I also agree that like I love words, but also words make me feel like
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I would say darkness. Some people don't like the word darkness, so there's that. Darkness without the colonization. I'm weak.
All right.
But also
Candy,
accurate.
the you're acting different comment takes me out. Right, right.
Wait, my acting? What you mean?
No, I think what I remember I was just telling you an example of like what I
Oh,
went through, and she's
my
like,
bad. No, that was me
the
not
you're
being able to
acting different
read.
comment takes me out every
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
And I had to learn to be okay with that. So even what you're talking about like the darkness, I do feel like so I'm a spectrum person. I believe
Mhm.
everything I talk about spectrum. I love energy. I'm
Mhm.
obsessed. It's a thing. And I'm a person who my spectrums are extreme. Let me tell
Mhm.
y'all, when I started being more compassionate, I was excusing everybody's behavior. It was
Mm-mm.
just a fucking mess. Okay, but I did eventually get to a middle ground. And I do feel like I too have been that person who spiritually bypassed, I would say, at least for like a
Mhm.
month of my big awakening.
Mhm.
I just felt a need to be so nice, right? Which is why I'm no longer nice. I'm only kind
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
like I've
Mhm.
seen for myself how harmful it could be to my own energetic body, honestly. Um, so I am curious about that with your spectrum. When you're doing new practices and learning, do you ever find yourself trying to balance that duality? Like, you know what I mean? Balance your where you are on the spectrum. Do you ever have those?
Mm, I okay. Let me start by saying that I'm a recovered people pleaser. So in short, yes. Um, Where I'm at now, okay, all right. So I'm gonna say this. I present as extremely nice, right? And because I present as extremely nice, people often take that for is that the word? Is the word naivety? They perceive me as naive because,
Yeah.
yeah, they perceive me as naive because I come off extremely nice. In reality, I'm not with the shits. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I
No,
just
no,
don't be
no.
with the shits
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah. That's
Like
real.
now I'm just like, if it's not giving accountability, if it's not giving just honesty, if it's not giving respect, I'm good. I'm good.
Mm.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's been for me, um, especially as a recovered people pleaser, that's been a hard boundary for me. Like you're not respecting me, you're you're not respecting me, and you're not taking accountability. Those two
Mm.
things, I'm good. But I present as
Yeah.
really nice, so people often try to through those boundaries and instant like, and then when I'm like, nah, that's not happening, they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like you're so mean, or you did this, or you did.
Yeah.
No, I know what it's like to be on the other side of that, and I know how I felt for years. And when I say years, I know how I felt up until maybe like 2020, 2021 type vibe. I'm good. It's a
Mm.
whole new sky, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
that,
a whole new sky.
yeah. Mm. No, that's real. Yeah. Hold on real quick. So Lotus said it's called duality. I'm allowed to
Mhm.
experience the fullness of who I am, and that means I can be kind and about that life what's good. Yes, I
Right.
feel like I had to
Facts.
get there. I had to get there. I had to become comfortable. And that's when I started deciding that I have to decide whether or not my behavior is correct or incorrect. Like I couldn't let
Mhm.
anybody outside of me decide that for me. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
that like according to your rules, I might, fail that test. That's okay. But I want to check in with myself too
Right.
and make sure how I express is really what I wanted and I wasn't being controlled by
Right.
you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
I feel like
I wasn't
Lotus
letting
said
you.
that in a very nice, like not nice, but she said that in a way that like I enjoy that way she said it, because like I
Yeah,
feel like I was just
yeah.
like, what's up? Like it's
Right.
giving what you want to do, because I'm not with the shits,
Yeah.
and she said it in a very like nice package sentence. So thank you, Lo.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I think that like I don't know for you like how community plays into right your lifestyle and your remembrance of your soul self or your creation of
Hmm.
who you truly want to be and express. As but I know that community played a big part in like me being fully me, right? Where I'm just like I know growing up it was just like you're too much, and Lo was one of the
Hmm.
people that was like you're never too much, you're always enough, right? And
Hmm.
knowing that that is very true. Like there
Yeah.
is not, I don't know what too much is for you, but boo,
Right.
no, it
Yeah.
is bigger.
My thing is like I am absolutely too much. But
Mm,
you either on board or you not, and either
yeah.
one is okay. I'm getting to the space in my journey where I'm okay with that. Like I am a lot. I do
Mm,
it all. I am multidimensional, multi-passionate, and again, God put me here to do all
okay.
the things and to take up all the space. And I'm in a
Okay.
place in my journey where I'm comfortable with that now. I'm comfortable with saying that, and I'm comfortable with taking the steps I need to do to continue to, pardon me, to stand in that. So
Mm,
there's that. In terms of community, it's a very layered thing because, all right, so a little astrology. I have a 11th house stellium. So a large part of my life purpose is to be here in service of my community. It's
mm,
to create for my community. Um, and so navigating nice versus kind, pardon me, and navigating boundaries with my community, whether that be my family, my business community, romantic relationships, friendships, all of those things have been one of like it has been one of like the hardest things to navigate because
mm.
yeah, it's just kind of like I'm either like here with my boundaries or like down here with my boundaries. And I've
Ooh.
finally gotten to a place where I'm here and kind of trying to get people. Sorry, I know y'all can't hear it, but it's very
It
distracting.
distracted you.
Yeah. I'm right here in my journey now and trying to get all people in different parts of my community to understand that balance and that harmony. It's been trying, but at the end of the day, I'm here to honor my boundaries and protect my peace and protect my energy and prioritize it. So yeah, that distracted me a little bit. So again, I don't know if I answered that, but you
Yeah.
know.
No, I love it though. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate like this whole conversation because I do feel like we touched on like several things about your lifestyle and I feel like it is loaded. And that's why when I ask questions, I ask people, what does it feel like? Um what is the experience like tell me about the experience. And I know that sometimes some things can't be explained, right? They can
Mm-hmm.
only be experienced really, right? So even like asking you like you saying like, well, I gotta listen to my body. That makes sense
Mm-hmm.
to me, right? Like and I hope it
Yeah.
hopefully, people resonate with that too because like I feel like it really just boils down to the simplicity of that.
Oh my,
It's like this
yo,
awareness is really just it.
that was also a really big lesson that I learned in Costa Rica too. It was just like we be doing too much, like just as folk, just as people. Like when I came back to New York after being in Costa Rica for 6 weeks, I remember driving with my mom and just looking out the window and just being like, this is not what God wanted. This is not what they meant. They didn't mean this. They didn't mean this at all. Like we be doing
Mm.
too much. And it's this life could be so simple and we make
Mm.
it so damn hard for no reason. For no
Yeah.
reason. Yeah. It's really the simplicity. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about everything. I feel like that's where I'm being guided to every area of my life, slowly but surely. It's like simplicity, simplicity. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Simplicity. Like again, and I think gratitude has helped me lean into that because again, like I said, I could look out my window and name 10 things right now that are beautiful to me, that are in resonance with my spirit. And that's just because I've allowed myself to get down to like the root, get down to the basics, and
Mm,
enjoy the simplicity of this life. And just honoring the experience. So,
mm, yeah. As you talk about that, the gratitude and all that, I do want to point out something. I feel like this came from you. This is something I'm actually practicing in my life more. There's no small moments, right? And so there are no longer small moments,
yes.
right? So I don't, right? And I'm still working on reconditioning myself with my word usage, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
still say that small thing because there's no small moments. One thing I spirit reminded me of was just like,
Do you hear that though?
yeah, okay, all right, I'm not sure.
My window
Yeah,
is closed, by the way, but go ahead.
but yeah, one thing that's it got
Right, I
um,
told you it's distracting.
okay. No, but one thing that spirit remind. Wait, what were we talking about though?
Okay,
Oh,
so
gratitude and no small things. Yeah, one thing.
yeah.
So, because the one thing I realized is that we be saying things that are small, right? Like I think about when I was in, y'all. I did a lot of things when I was depressed. I don't know. I had to force myself through a lot of things, whether it was the military and school, right? So I think about those moments where I was like having depressed like symptoms, right? Like deep depressive symptoms, and I was still doing papers. I was showing up to class. I was participating. You might say those are small because that's part of the program, but for me, like that wasn't small. Showing up wasn't small. It wasn't
Yeah.
that simple. You know what I mean? Like it took a little work to get there, and I so like what I do believe in celebrating everything. I celebrate handing in
Celebrate
exams.
everything.
I
Yep.
celebrate getting exams back. I don't care what the grade is. I celebrate reading assignments. Like I really
Hmm.
do have learned to just celebrate because I realized that I would create like I would set one goal, get it done, and then run to the next goal. Like I was not
Mm.
really spending time just celebrating life throughout the process. And so like now I try to like be present because I was never
Yeah.
present. I was always in the future. What's the next thing I can accomplish? What's the next accolade I
Sister,
can get?
that's so funny because I was the opposite. So where you would complete one goal and then run to the next one, I would start off with like 20 goals, and let's say I completed three. Instead of celebrating that, I would be so hard on myself. Like,
Mm,
and that became so daunting because it's just like I've accomplished so much, but it doesn't feel like it. But that's also because in a 24-hour time span, I put 30 things on my to-do list. That don't even make sense. Like, but I wasn't able to see that. And there was a live that I was watching. I can't remember the woman's name, but she was just talking about how just shifting like these little routines in our life and these little rituals in our life can completely just shift our entire journey. And she had said something like, instead of putting 30 things on your to-do list, put 2. And for each thing that you complete, like, take a break and do something that feels good to you. Do something pleasurable to honor the fact that you completed that thing. And even if you didn't complete that thing, if you took a step towards that thing, still take a moment to honor the fact that you took a step toward that thing and celebrate that too, because that's also a big thing. It's a big thing to wake up and write the goal list. It's a big thing to wake up and write the goal list and then write the steps that the goal needs. Every step that you take in every moment of your life is huge, because essentially we have choices and we chose to, right? We have choices. We have choices and we chose to be in our resonance, and we chose to be in alignment, and we chose to be here now. We chose to be present, and that gets to be celebrated in itself. So celebrate everything, you know?
Yeah.
Gratitude.
I didn't mean to be because I feel like it's more of a grace. I was just like, yeah.
I mean, listen, we could clap, we could snap, we could twerk, we could do whatever.
Yeah, I received that. No, yeah. My heart is so full right now. Just like even having these conversations, it's like awakening, right? Some what are they called? Cells. I'm like, I feel like it's awakening some cells in my body.
Yes, I feel you. I mean,
because that's what we're expressing. Okay. I don't know much science, but I know a little bit.
You know more than me, because what?
Right, it's called gene expression, right, y'all? Well, I'm sure there's a scientist out there.
It ain't me. I'm not the one.
No. But yeah, I love this conversation so much. Okay. So let me think of I don't know about any, but I also want you to like let people know so I also want you all, because I'm going to wrap this up soon. I always have like a going out question, but I also want to see if you have anything that came to you that you want to share before I wrap this up. Start wrapping it up.
Okay. So I'm that person that, like, again, I stalk you. I watched all your lives. So like I knew the question was coming or whatever. So I did a thing.
Okay.
I wrote down.
Okay, hell yeah.
I was like, I'm going to write down some of like the most pivotal things that have been happening for me and share that for whoever needs to receive it.
Oh, I appreciate you. We appreciate you.
I got you. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to reach for my book, because I was like, oh, I'm just going to say it off the whim. And then I was like, girl, you're not going to remember. So.
No, that's a good idea.
All right.
We're here.
Some of these things we already touched on, though, which I actually love for us. But yeah, I'm going to go over it quickly and stop talking. Anyways, 1, dream big. A lot of times, if not always, we create the limitations for ourselves. 2, many things can be true at once. Just because something isn't true for us doesn't make it not true. Everything God has created is true, and in everything there's a lesson. Constantly reminding myself that there is beauty in all things, and where I'm not able to see beauty, there is a lesson. Flow with what feels good. Flow just is and requires us to just be. Being and flowing requires a level of surrender and trust in self and trust in spirit. Everything is a practice. Practice until you embody, but also remember that you are having a human experience that will be filled with ebbs and flows. So yes, practice, and yes, embody, but more than anything, hold space for gratitude and grace. Allow good things to flow into your experience simply by being open to it. You get to be the hero in your story. Take up space. Stop trying to fit into a box. Give yourself space and grace to change, pivot, and evolve. Nothing you do is small. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your worth, power, and beauty. And the last one is do the things you told yourself you were going to do. Yeah, do the things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm really gonna crop that part out and let that be a thing. You know what I mean? Like a quote. Sorry. The like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh, yes. So I do have a question because I before we this was not a question here, so this is just a question from that. About pivoting
Mm-hmm.
or about like
Mm-hmm.
shifting or changing your mind. Like, do you ever experience that? Like, where it's like, right, I might have these things on my list, and I might say I want to do these things, but maybe the energy of it runs out before it's complete. I don't know if
think,
that's the right term, but
no, it makes sense. I think for me, it's less of the energy running out, and it's more of the fact that the Most High really put on my heart to be like this big, multi-dimensional, multi-passionate person. And so I have my hands in a lot of different things. And it's funny, I was actually just talking about this yesterday, but a part of me would feel really fickle, and I'd feel guilty because I would be like, for example, I am into crystal healing, right? I am into crystal healing, but I will put that down for a little bit and pick up sound healing. And then I'd be really into sound healing and then put that down and be really into like plant medicine. And then all of a sudden I am painting again. And then all of a sudden I'm making jewelry, but I also make body butter. And then it's like, girl, pick one. And I was having this really powerful conversation where with Desiree of Desire Doulas. And she was expressing to me that she was also going through that. And we just kind of came to the conclusion that, like, God wouldn't put that on our heart and in our spirit if we weren't meant to do all the things. So we get to change and we get to pivot. And we also, again, it's in our toolbox, right? So we also get to pick it up when we feel called to it again, right? So I can put down crystals today and I can want to pick up a crystal on Saturday, and I'm allowed to do that because it's in my toolbox now. And I get to love all of that, and I get to love all parts of me, and I get to love all of me, and I get to have the combined experience, but I also get to separate the experience and enjoy them separately. Like, I get to enjoy the big picture and I get to enjoy the smaller big pictures. And that's, yeah, it's all okay, and it's all lit.
yeah, I love it. Thank you. Yeah, do all the things whenever you feel like doing it. And
Yeah,
that's
do all the
right.
things.
And this goes back to right, and that's why I feel like, yeah, as we're talking about that, this is definitely your lifestyle. I consider it part of your lifestyle because like this is part of
Yeah.
your that's being too, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure. I think that was also a really hard part for me too, was also almost like creating a bit of the separation between my personal life and my business life, simply because my business is an extension of the practices and the things that I do for myself. And that's also a big part of my purpose here. I'm a Sag rising, right? So like, I'm really big on education and learning and exploring and freedom and sharing that. Again, 11th house stellium. So like, and sharing that with my community, like that's so important to me. And I forgot where I was going with that, but I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure. Like, I think that we always gonna get what we're called to get from these experiences. So yeah, I also do like if you can just share with people how they can connect with you, if you got anything going on, what they can look forward to from you. Like,
first and foremost, I look sweaty, y'all. My bad. Well, not really my bad. It's hot, but I look sweaty. Okay, so how can you connect with me? If you're watching this, welcome to my business page. So you can connect with me on here. I have a restock happening on August 12th. Connect with me by joining my email list, following me on all the social things. And yeah, just vibing with me and talking to me and connecting and being in community. It is giving glow, sis.
Yeah, okay,
Gratitude.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
connect with me by connecting with me. Literally, I'm always here to just connect and learn more and grow and just exchange energy that's in resonance with mine.
That's a resonance. Okay, we are intentional around here. Okay.
Punto,
Okay.
baby. Okay.
All right. Before we officially go, final wrap up question. Do
Ooh,
anybody
I'm
else
excited.
that's still here have questions? Hopefully, this is
Okay.
okay. If you could
Okay.
tell some past version of yourself, which are there. Oh, all right, hold on. If you could tell right, you saw me get distracted.
Yeah.
If you could tell some past, if you could tell some past version of yourself anything, what would you say?
Ooh, okay. Okay. I actually did not prepare for that question because I forgot that
Yay.
you asked that at the end. Okay. I had a dream a couple of months ago, and in the dream was my great grandmother. And in the dream, she was like patting my hair, and she was like, "All is well." That's what I would tell me. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite sayings.
Mine too.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself. This too shall pass and all is well.
All
If
is
those two
well.
can't get me out of this situation, I don't know what to tell y'all.
Yeah. I would literally just be like, all is well, baby girl. Just journey. All is well. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's giving glow, facts on a glow, and some next figure. Great job, ladies. I needed this. This was a dope space and dope talk. Blessings to you both and everyone on the live. We get thanks for you. Thank you.
Gratitude.
I try to sometimes I pull in. I don't know if I'm pulling. Yeah, but
I feel you. So got you. We gonna. I mean, but hear me out. We gonna do a little bit of both.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm trying to see what I'm doing. I don't even know. I'm like, oh, is this what we doing? Is that what we want?
I'm not gonna lie. It's giving collective Reiki, to be honest. But
oh, that's right. That's so funny because I actually do like these motions when I do readings and stuff. So the fact that my hands wanted to do this, I'm like, okay.
Same, sis. Same.
All right. Well, that's all I have. This was so fun. This was so delicious. My heart is full.
Same. Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you all. This was so beautiful. All the comments, all the things. We are in this together. Again, not again. If you are interested in being a guest, feel free to hit me up. Fill out the form. The link is in my bio. We're already looking for people for September. There's 3 spots left or 2. Anyway, you just fill out the form and I'll get to you. So thank you all. You can have any topic you want. That's not too crazy.
I'm weak. Not too crazy.
Yeah. I don't want no smoke. I don't want no smoke. That's what I realized. I want no smoke. What is that? But I'm also here for it, so I don't know.
I hear that.
All right,
it's
love
giving
you
Leo.
all. Yeah, very Leo energy. Love y'all.